everyone. This afternoon we have a very special guest, Pak Budi Gunadi Sadikin, who is the Minister of Health of Republic of Indonesia, and he's not a typical Minister of Health. We will listen from him how he reformed healthcare sector in Indonesia. Pak Budi, please welcome to the stage. So let me give a bit of background and context about Pak Budi. When we talk about Minister of Health, we talk about healthcare, doctor, but Pak Budi is not the typical Minister of Health. Why? Because he was the top banker in Indonesia previously. And we invited him to speak in our event last year in front of a lot of investors and startups. And somehow he talked about IRR. So we're like, wow, you know, IRR is investor lingo. Then when we go deep dive further with Pak Budi, he talked about total addressable market. So we're like, wow, how can Minister of Health talk about total addressable market of healthcare? So it is very interesting, and we would like to deep dive more about how Pak Budi reform Indonesia healthcare sector. And Pak Budi actually just managed to work closely with the parliament to pass a new healthcare reform bill that will probably change the landscape of healthcare sector in Indonesia. So Pak Budi, in your opinion, are you happy with the progress of the regulation now, and are you on track to achieve what you envision?
So first, before I answer your questions, I would like to ask you questions, right? You have two options. Option A and option B. You have 100,000 US. Option A, you can invest in East Venture and got a 5x return in 1 year. But you die 1 year after you get the return. Or you spend that 100,000 to do expensive medical checkup in Mayo clinics, 0 return, but you live for another 15 years. Option B. So which one you choose? Anyone that choose option A, raise your hand. See, the priority in every human being is health, not wealth. It has to be very, very clear. Even you said that you love God the most. When somebody asks, let's see God. Oh, why don't you go first? Because nobody loves God, but they want to see God first. Yeah, they will ask their friend to go first. So that's why, ladies and gentlemen, when you invest in health, there will never be a mistake, because this is the first priority for every human being on earth to spend money in. So invest in health. Number second, when you want to invest in health, what the government can do? Yeah? The government cannot do anything except sign a regulation. So I have less money than him. I used to have more money than him because I run the biggest bank in the country. So I give money to all conglomerate, all startup, everybody, financial institution. And since I'm the CEO of the largest bank in the country, I'm actually hold the most money in the country, although it's not my own money, it's somebody else's money. But I used to have the power of holding the most cash in the country and distribute to the people that I like. Yeah, distribute to the people that I like. But now what I would like to share with you is, now I'm sitting here, I don't have money. My paycheck plummeted down, 1/40th of my income when I was the CEO of Bank Mandiri. become minister. So don't dare to think become a minister if you don't have enough cash saving, because otherwise you will be extremely poor. And you have to find any illegal sources of fund, and you can end up in jail, like several other examples that you have seen in the market. Yeah? So, but I can write a regulations. If the regulation is good, then the private sector will coming in and they invest money. If the regulation is ugly, the private sector will not coming in. So we just reformed the highest level of regulation, the law, in August. I know that is good. Why? Because I met with a lot of investors after that. Several group of people might hate me, but most of the investors like me. So I think that's good for investor. Now I'm going down to the second level of regulation, the government regulation. So after the law, the structure in Indonesian government, the law, all the bills, government regulations, and the minister regulations. So the government regulation is on the finalizing process. It's already written, 1,600 articles plus more. It has been publicly debated, and now it's an internal process of the government to be approved. So hopefully it will be approved by the president, because the president will approve these government regulations, hopefully by the end of this month or next month. For your information, usually in Indonesian law, when you establish a law, to finalize all government regulation needed maybe between 1 year to 4 years. So now I want to do it, finish everything in 2 months, on 3 months. So just manage your expectation properly.
And so far, Pak, so what do you expect once this regulation is being detailed and penned down and executed? Do you expect more healthcare innovation in Indonesia, more investment? What is your view on that?
The law encompasses many aspects, but basically the fundamental, changes is this new law is based. We are very focused on how to delivering good access, so availability. Yeah? People in Sabang or Merauke or Jakarta or Medan or Manado have good access everywhere they are. Yeah? Number 2, good quality. So similar with global best practices, and similar also between regions, and good price for the people. So the objective of all of these regulations is good access, good quality, and good price. And we have determined 6 pillars to make sure that the government can deliver healthcare services everywhere easily, good quality, standard everywhere, and also cheap price. And that is where the opportunity is, because we will unlock all the regulations to make sure that whoever, whether it's government or private sector, whether it's a big company or a startup, whether it is a pure local company or a joint venture company or foreign investment 100% company that operate in Indonesia, will deliver the best access, the best quality, and the best price to Indonesian people. Even I always give a joke. I know this is recorded, but this is only a joke. It is only a joke. I put a disclaimer first. Many people said, hey, 2 million of Indonesian goes to Malaysia and Singapore to do healthcare services. That is bad for Indonesian economy. Yes, it is, because Indonesian money is going out. That is a problem for Minister of Trade and Minister of Finance. Will that be a problem for Minister of Health? I said, if they can get better access, better quality, better price in Malaysia or in Singapore, actually I have to be grateful to the Minister of Health of Malaysia and Minister of Health of Singapore, because they are doing my job. servicing Indonesian people, millions of Indonesian people, give them good access, good quality, and good price without me have to pay any cents to them. So can you imagine that you have somebody work for you, very good, delivering good things, but you don't have to pay him anything, right? That is a wonderful thing to do actually. Because then, if we focus on our people, that is the way we should focus. But of course the problem will arise when the pandemic happens and the Singapore and Malaysia said, okay, we lock down and we limit the Indonesian to coming in, then we have to have a problem. Then I have to build the resiliency to make sure that the gap is not that big, but then, you know, if that happens, then all the Indonesian people can be served also. But actually, to give you an example, that is the opportunity for all people, you know, to deliver any kind of healthcare services to this one. And I mentioned to Wilson, some of you have heard this. Indonesia spent $140 per capita per annum, healthcare expenditure average. The outcome, 70 years average life. The closest, Malaysia, 76, they spend $430 per capita per annum. So $300 difference. I'm going to be 60 next year. I think hopefully I'm still healthy and I can live, you know, to 75 or 80s, working with him, you know, young people, energetic, so I feel young, although I'm 60, you know. Yeah. 60 in WHO is categorized as elderly. You know. So next year I will be categorized as elderly. Gene elderly, not Gen X or Gen Y, Gen elderly. So closer to heaven, you know, rather than all of you. But that's a minute I go to heaven first, yeah? Or maybe I go to, definitely, hopefully I go to heaven, you go to hell, or somebody of you go to hell, or a minority will go to hell. But what I like to say with you, if we go to Malaysia level, 72 to 75, 76 Malaysia, yeah, in the next 5 years, logically, we have to spend another 300 US, right? The older you are, the more spending you spend. 300 US, you multiply by 280 million, is 81 billion upside opportunity. Businesses, next 5 years. If you split into three, typically, hospital business, 30%, pharmaceutical business, 30%, etc. business, you know, 50, medical devices, or 50, 30%, 30%, 30%, it's still 230 billion, 81 divided by 3, yeah? It's like whatever, 81, close to 28 billion US dollar revenue potential. If you go to Singapore level, 2,800, 84 years average life, in the next 10 to 15 years, typical, you know, fund cycle, 10 years, 15 years, you want to calculate how much multiple or IRR what you want to get. Next 10 years, you go to Singapore, 2,800, you minus 100, 2,700 difference, multiply by 280 million people, it will be 700 billion US dollar. You divide by 3, if you are working in the pharmaceutical industry, opportunity is 230 billion upside in the next 10 years. Go to the medical device, 230 billion upside. You go to whatever hospital business, 230 billion upside. So a huge upside. So invest in health. You are in the right sector.
But I'm sold. And because of that, the opportunity is so big. We are going to announce East Ventures Healthcare Fund. This is going to be the first healthcare fund in Indonesia. We target about 30 million US dollar to support your vision and to catch that opportunity.
30.
But before that, probably if, I would like to understand from the audience, how many of you running or working for healthcare related startup? Can you raise your hand? Okay, this is great because not many, but so I can invest more. And we hope that next year, if we have a chance again to come to this event together with Pak Budi, we would like to see more and more healthcare startup in the room so that we can create more opportunity, we're able to attract more money, and definitely we would like to improve the life of Indonesian. But probably we touch a bit of some personal stuff, Pak. You become the Minister of Health in the middle of the pandemic. What do you feel when President Jokowi call you and say, Pak Budi, you have to do things that you have to do?
First, I want to comment when Wilson asking hands. That is typical Wilson. Wilson is a very savvy investor. I knew him personally when I was in banking industry. You know, in banking, you buy and sell banking products basically. Finance is like a market. You go to electronic market, you go to food market, you go to fish market, you buy and sell things, right? Finance, you buy and sell financial things too. Basically, there are four basic products. Whether it is interest market, money market, whether it is FX market, currency market. The third one is equity market. You're buying and selling equities, and you're selling bond market. So basically, there are four major products in finance. You buy and sell interest or money. You buy like banking loan, saving deposit. You're buying and selling money. You're buying and selling FX. You're buying US dollar, selling rupiah, or buying yen against US dollar. Or you are buying equities. You're buying whatever, Bank Mandiri stocks and selling BCA stock. Or you're buying bond, government bond. And you can have a lot of derivatives. The future of this, the option of this, whatever of this, the mixture of this, and whatever it is. As long as the risk is there, you buy and sell things. And the basic principle in market trading, how do you make money? You buy low. You sell as high as you can. As a banker, I said, with the manageable risk. Yeah? You buy as low as possible, sell as high as possible with manageable risk. And that is the caveat. That is the 10 million question, is how you manage the risk. So Wilson, my experience, why he doing this? Because historically, he is really good in buying low. He's really good in buying low. And then after that, he make the story so good, so everybody buying more expensive than him. And the price is going up, and suddenly he sell very, very high, with the entrance level which is very, very low. So when he raised the question, it is a few, that is Wilson. So because it's a few, that he can enter you at the low level. Because there's only a few. Wilson has 30 million. Nobody else have it. So you can get a lot of you. But otherwise, maybe luck. Yeah, he is also a very lucky person. Maybe one of you, two of you, three of you, can become very, very high in terms of valuation. And Wilson always exit. So that's why typical Wilson. You ask, how many? And only a few. Because that is where he enters always at the right time, always at the lowest point, and then always find somebody that can exit at the highest point possible. So another question, why I joined Ministry of Health? Actually, I never dreamed that I will work in health sector. Yeah? I just try to justify to you, that is actually the best wealth is health. But saying like what I told you. But actually that is it was the principle. So when I joined, let me start this way. So I try to justify why I moved to health sector, right? One of the thing is what I just mentioned to you. I just realized first priority is health. Second priority is wealth. When you are young like him, like Roderick, you see your WhatsApp group, hey, what company you want to invest? Hey, this company is good, potential return 5x. Or you can buy this stock, potential return is this. When you see my WhatsApp group, my age, which one is the best doctor? Do you have diabetes? What are the drugs that I have to for diabetes? So a different type of discussion in WhatsApp group. And do you think it's only poor people like me? No. Pak Frankie Wijaya, Pak Antoni Salim, the WhatsApp group also. Maybe more of discussion about health than wealth. So actually I have a back pain. What are the medicine of back pain? Is it better to go to Mayo or Cleveland Clinic to this, pacemaker of my heart or whatever? So even for people that's so rich, if you see the WhatsApp group, when they reach my age, I bet the topics that they discuss is more about health rather than wealth. Because they are more scared to die than more scared to lose their investment money. Everybody. So that is also the reason that I joined. Yeah? The reason that I joined is I realized that health is much more important than wealth. In terms of, for me personally, because I'm afraid of death, more than I'm afraid to be poor. But second, I want to put it in front of you. I got this feeling when I participate with my friends, my ex-competitor, Peter San, the CEO of Global Fund, used to be the CEO of Standard Chartered Bank globally, to raise 18 billion US dollar for Global Fund money for the next 3 years replenishment. Global Fund is one of the biggest healthcare fund globally that support tuberculosis, HIV, and malaria. And the balance sheet size, every time they raise 16 to 18 billion, not 30 million, 16 to 80 billion US dollar for 3 years, not for 10 years. So he asked me to meet with the investor. Budi, you are bankers, why don't we do a pitch? And Peter San became a CEO. He opened the presentation and said, hey, with this 16 billion money, we save 50 million lives globally from tuberculosis, HIV, and malaria. And then Peter gave the speaker to me. And I said, gosh, me and Peter have been in the banking industry for more than 30 years. Each of us has raised money for our clients, definitely more than 1 trillion US dollar during our career. And I can compete with William, but William a different way to raise money. Yeah, different way to raise money. I can use public money. He always has to use investor money. More difficult to sell. He is a better salesman than I do. Yeah? But I gave, and definitely Peter San gave, more than 1 trillion US dollar as a banker for 30 years for our clients. But you know what we feel? We feel so little contribution to humanity. We become rich, or we have beautiful houses, beautiful cars, investments, but we feel so little contribution to humanity. Where this one is only 16 billion US. I raised 4 billion to buy Freeport in a month. I got 4 billion US. I raised 4 billion for Ministry of Health in 3 months. I got 4 billion US with a concessional rate from World Bank. So 16 is not big for me and Peter. It's so little actually. But we feel so much contribution to humanity. 50 million lives. So while as a banker you raise so much money, but so little feelings to contribute to humanity, here in health, you raise so little money, $30 million. Wow, so cute, so little. But so much contribution to humanity. And as I don't know all people like you, but I'm a Muslim, some of you are Christian, some of you are Buddhist, but all of us, most of us, believe there is an afterlife, right? Someday we will pass and move to another dimension. I'm a very savvy banker. I never heard that when we pass into another dimensions, my investment return in East Venture Fund or in time deposit can pass through that dimension and get into my pocket when I moved it into that dimension. I never heard about the story like that. That the money, the houses, the rent of my house, investment in East Venture, the money can go there, crossing the dimension. But at least in my religion, there are 3 things that can pass through this dimension. The good things that you have done to people. You have a good children that always pray for you. And then you teach knowledge to other people and the knowledge is being used. Ilmu yang bermanfaat, anak yang soleh, dan amal ibadah. That is in Indonesia. So that's why when I said, hey, as a banker, I have enough money. I have investment, I have enough. Even I put in time deposit, not in East Venture Fund, I got enough yield already. But when I die, whether it's enough or not, it depends on your sin. Then you start calculating whether I have enough sin, I have enough investment to cover my sin or not. And maybe most of you will agree with me, we lack of investment in this part. So that's why we need to do investment. Then I said, Ministry of Health, what can I do? What do I get? Budi, you saved 270 million people by vaccinations. Okay. Oh, okay, 270 million. Wilson can maybe make rich, 10 million people. I got 270 million. God will put it down, and I think the interest of these good deeds will pass through the dimension, and I have enough saving for the next life. So that is the reason.
Thank you, very inspirational. So after listening to Pak Budi, how many of you want to start healthcare startup? Can you raise your hand? Okay, we have more people now, Pak. Yeah. And in terms of Indonesia healthcare landscape, we have a very small ratio doctor per capita. With this new regulation, what do you expect? How do you see this?
As a banker, when you approve a loan, as a part of risk management, we'll check the feasibility of the project. So you ask, what are the resources needed? Do you have access to capital? You have to access to raw materials? Do you have enough people to run it? You have a passionate entrepreneur to lead this one? So there are many aspects that you have to take care of. In healthcare sector investment, so when you want to start something and you want to invest something, there is one major, biggest constraint in healthcare investment is the human resources. What is the, because when you want to produce electricity, what is the most expensive raw materials? It is gasoline or natural gas or coal, right? That is usually the most expensive. When you want to deliver the healthcare services, what is the most expensive? The pay of the doctors. And this is the most scarce resources. Because why? Doctors are limited in terms of what? In terms of age, in terms of working time, and in terms of hands. One doctor can only do one surgeon at the same time, unless you have one doctor with 4 hands or 6 hands. Right? You only have a doctor with 2 hands. Doctors can only operate 8 hours. They cannot operate for 36 hours non-stop, different with other robots. Yeah? You know, and doctors can only live 72 years. Maybe the productive age is only 30 years. You cannot stretch, the life cycle of this, whatever critical raw materials to 100 years or 150 years. So that is the critical resources when you want to do a healthcare businesses. So as a Minister of Health, this is something they have to address. If you want the healthcare sector to be growing, to support our people, then you have to make sure, as in every other business, the most critical raw materials, the most critical resources is ready, available, and hopefully abundant and cheap with the highest quality. So that is the reason in this law, we unlocking all the things that limit the productions, the availability, the quality, and distributions of doctors. Why? Again, in any healthcare sector, this is the most critical and limited resources. So please consider that in your next round of investment.
Again, everyone, please give a big round of applause to Pak Budi Gunadi Sadikin.